and welcome to the Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show 2026. Every day in classrooms all across our community, moments of inspiration, challenge, and growth are happening, often behind closed doors. This show emphasizes the transformative power of education and the dedication of educators. There's a saying that a good education can change anyone, but a good teacher can change everything. Today, we shine the spotlight on educators who demonstrate this truth every day, rising to the occasion to meet the needs of our students with compassion and creativity. Their work changes lives, and today we recognize their outstanding commitment. Get ready to meet the remarkable individuals named Teacher of the Year for their respective schools. And welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show. Hello and welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show. We are so excited to have this opportunity to speak with the Teacher of the Years for all of the schools here in St. Lucie Public Schools. This is a show where we have an opportunity to highlight those that have been chosen as their representative for their schools, but because they represent a very dynamic teaching field here in St. Lucie Public Schools, I must add an A-rated school district and one of the best. And at this time, joining us from Manatee Academy is the wonderful Marissa Tozer, who's their Dynamic Teacher of the Year. Ms. Tozer, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She's brought along with her our very dear friend, Ms. Waller-Kevis, who's the awesome, proud principal there. Ms. Waller-Kevis, welcome.
Good morning, Dr. Perry.
As I stated earlier, we are excited because we know, Ms. Tozer, that you represent a very dynamic teaching field. You represent all of the teachers at Manatee, but you represent what's right, what's good, what's best for teaching here in St. Lucie Public Schools. So before we get started, let's have you introduce yourself to our viewers. Just give a brief synopsis of what led you into education, your background, what you studied, that kind of thing.
Okay. So my name is Marissa Tozer. I have lived in Port St. Lucie my whole life, so I am a proud product of the St. Lucie County Schools.
Yes.
I graduated from Port St. Lucie High School in 2010, and then I went on to obtain my Associates of Arts from IRSC, and then I went on to FAU to obtain my Bachelor's of Arts in Education, and I graduated in 2015. I've been teaching since then, so this is year 11. I've taught 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, and this is my 6th year in 4th grade.
Thank you. It's really exciting when we have homegrown.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get so excited, but when you said that we have a promise is a promise, and we know that we have some great students that go through the public school system here, and when they come back and seed into the system that made them, it's just really exciting. Ms. Waller-Kevis, would you introduce yourself to our viewers?
I would love to. I'm the proud principal of Manatee K-8. This is my 31st year in public education. Although not homegrown, I have spent all 31 years here in St. Lucie, and it is a fabulous place to be. And excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you for joining us. Now, I know this is your interview, but I have to let our viewers know every time we get a chance that not only is Mrs. Waller-Kevis the proud principal there, but she was once the Teacher of the Year for the entire state of Florida. So we have some great lineage here in the studio this morning. So, Ms. Tozer, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yes.
Was there someone, elementary teacher, that inspired you?
Yes. So my 5th grade teacher, she actually still works for the district as well, Miss Jackson. She was one of the teachers who really inspired me and made learning fun.
Floresta?
Yes, at
Mr.
Floresta.
John, give a shout out. Give a shout out.
Yes. Yes. So she definitely influenced me wanting to become a teacher just because of how caring and passionate and she was for her students and also towards education. And that's something that I have kept with me for all of these years.
So, what do you find to be most enjoyable about teaching in its entirety?
I think it's really the moments where you're connecting with the students, so it becomes more than learning. You're building the relationships with them. You can kind of have fun with them in the classroom, but also be teaching them. And sometimes you're teaching them things more than the curriculum.
I understand. So, with understanding your response, 11 years in now, teaching can be very difficult when we start, and it can be very difficult even in year 11. But when was the moment, when was the time that you actually fell in love with teaching?
I want to say it was my second year of teaching. I was teaching at C.A. Moore for my second year, and I had one student in particular that was just always very much like down on himself and didn't feel like he could do much of anything. And I'll never forget that the first time he got 100% on a spelling test. And it was kind of in that moment where I was like, oh, like this is what it's all about. This is what makes it worth it. And he was so proud of himself. And that was really when I said, yes, this is for me.
So, Ms. Wallachevitz, we know that to be selected as the Teacher of the Year on the different campuses here, that teacher has to be involved in not just their classroom activities, but the total makeup of the school. What activities would we find Ms. Tozer involved in at Manatee?
Anything that involves our families, she is there and 100% in. But I think a Teacher of the Year is also a leader on campus, and so she's also willing to take charge and spearhead. We have events where we give back, to our community and others, and she's the one gathering the troops. She's the one putting all the pieces together. She's the one, going shopping and doing all the things that need to be done to make each event meaningful for everybody.
Also, Ms. Wallachevitz, you have an opportunity to see the magic in her class happen on a regular basis, every day. If you were to walk me into her classroom, what would we see?
Innovation. And she teaches the standards, no doubt, and I think that we've all come a long way and know, like, you have to teach the state standards. But she brings the joy back to teaching. She brings that creativity every single day. You'll walk in her room sometimes and the lights will be off and they'll have black lights out and neon bracelets and all kinds of things to really get into whatever topic they're doing. But again, just to bring that curiosity, well, what does a black light do? And then how do you connect it to the standard? So just lots of engagement and kids talking to one another, kids really having conversations about, hey, what does this learning really mean? How do I make it better? And she's there listening, guiding, just giving all the support so that every student in her room can be successful.
So, Ms. Tozer, what gives you the greatest career satisfaction daily?
I think it's really those aha moments when, especially when a student feels like I can't do this. And I only teach math and science this year. So math is a little more concrete than reading because it's not, there's just kind of one answer to things. And when they really understand, oh, hey, I can do this and I can use what I know, that is probably the biggest satisfaction for me.
There's a lot that educators are faced with as we continue to let the profession get better. What do you see as one of the greatest challenges facing education today?
I would have to say probably technology and the use of social media. I feel like students now, they want to go to Chat GPT for everything to get their answers, and they kind of want that instant gratification. And it's a lot harder for them to want to think more critically because of that. So I think that makes it more difficult, not only for them to learn, but for us to kind of compete with that technology.
So, Ms. Wallachevitz, because you have the opportunity to see her every day, and because you know her, you know why she was selected as the Teacher of the Year for Manatee Academy. Describe Ms. Tozer for me using 3 adjectives.
Well, inspirational. Again, just with her peers, with the students in her classroom, with her families, and really getting everybody on board to do everything they can for all of our students. She is passionate. She is all in from jump. She nights, weekends, whatever it takes. She does whatever is needed to make her students successful. And then the last one is thoughtful, and thoughtful because she really does put others first, not just her children, but again, going back to those campus activities that do take from family time, away from being at home and other things that she has going on in life, but just really wanting to do everything to support our school and our families.
So what makes her the perfect candidate for this honor?
I think the fact that she is just so well-rounded and willing to go above and beyond, and to be a Teacher of the Year, not just for St. Lucie, but for the state of Florida. It really does. It's the whole package, right? It's not just about what do you do in the classroom. It's what do you do outside of the classroom. What do you do in the community, right? How do you support St. Lucie in general, not just St. Lucie Public Schools and not just Manatee K-8.
So, Ms. Tozer, we asked you to bring along a prop with you that kind of describes you as an educator.
Yes.
And I know that you have one.
I
do.
do.
Kind of afraid right now. but show us your prop. Tell us about your prop and why it describes you, supports you as an educator.
Okay, so can I ask you to partake in an activity with my prop?
Yes, ma'am.
That's
you
okay.
can.
All right, so I'm going to ask if you could please close your eyes just for a minute. I
Okay.
promise nothing's going to
They're
bite,
closed. They're closed.
sting. And I'm going to put an object in your hand.
Uh-oh.
And I just want you to hold it and without opening your eyes, kind of feel it and see if you can figure out what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can use both hands if you would like. You don't need to use just
Okay.
one.
It feels like a globe.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So without opening your eyes, what makes you want to open your eyes to see if you're correct or not?
When we think about this, we think about places of the world and where we can take children to through education. So maybe you have dots on this that have talked about places that you have been or that you have shared with your students.
Okay. You can go ahead and open your eyes.
Okay.
So it is a globe.
Okay.
But really,
Pass that test.
what I really wanted to do was kind of spark that curiosity in you to be like, oh, what is in my hand? What am I looking at? Because I feel like when we really spark students' curiosity,
Yes.
that's when learning becomes the most meaningful. And using that curiosity is how I plan to change the world, one classroom at a time. So that's why I have the globe.
One classroom at a time?
Yes.
One student at a time?
Yes.
Well, Ms. Tozer, Ms. Waller-Kevitz, it has been a joy. It has been a pleasure having this opportunity to speak with you and introduce you to the viewers of St. Lucie Public Schools because, as I stated earlier, you represent what's right, what's good, what's best about education here in the state of Florida. I have one last question. That's my close to you. As Teacher of the Year for Manatee Academy, you are also their ambassador for education. You could possibly go on to be the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools, and like our wonderful friend, Ms. Waller-Kevitz, the Teacher of the Year for the state of Florida. You would have an opportunity to speak to many constituents. What would your message be?
I would say that education is more than grades and exams. Education is unlocking a student's potential, their creativity, and allowing them to kind of find their niche. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that would be my message.
Thank you again to both of you for sharing with us this morning, and congratulations again on your selection as Teacher of the Year for Manatee Academy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Perry.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
welcome again to our Teacher of the Year celebration show, where we highlight some of the best teachers that you're going to meet any and everywhere that just happen to work here in St. Lucie Public Schools. Joining us now is Miss Megan Swells, the dynamic Teacher of the Year over at Bayshore Elementary. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She's brought along with her the very proud principal there, Miss Siobhan Silas. Miss Silas, welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
I get really excited about the opportunity to speak with the Teachers of the Year because it gives us an opportunity to highlight education here in St. Lucie Public Schools. But before we get into all of the questions, Ms. Swells, would you please introduce yourself briefly to our viewers, letting them know where you went to school, how long you've been teaching, that kind of bio info?
Yeah. So I've been teaching for, this is my third year this year, so I'm still fairly new to the field. I am from Lakeland, Florida, and I went to Western Governors University for college and graduated in 2022.
Are you a Kathleen grad?
No, Lake Gibson.
Lake Gibson, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Silas, introduce yourself, please.
All right. Well, I am Siobhan Silas. This is my 21st year in education, 5th year as principal at Bayshore Elementary, proud principal at Bayshore Elementary. And I'm just honored to be here.
Awesome. Again, to both of you, welcome to our show. So, Ms. Swells, let's jump right in. Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
That's a loaded question. Yes, but I avoided it for quite some time. But yes, it's always kind of been there. I grew up as a staff kid, and my mom was the network manager at my elementary school I went to. And I was always the kid that was going around to the teachers' classrooms collecting things that they didn't want anymore. And then I would also raid my mom's office. And over time, my collection got too big. I became like the Little Mermaid of my school. And then my mom finally built me like a desk area. So I think it's always been there. It just took me a little bit to come around to the idea of it.
So since you've come around to the idea, I'm going to push you a little bit more. As you reflect, do you think that there was a teacher or teachers that kind of inspired
Absolutely.
you or that you patterned yourself after today?
Absolutely.
Would you share?
Yeah. So it was really my 4th grade teacher, Mr. Sims. I've had the privilege of being taught by him technically twice, but technically 3 times in my life. I had him as my 4th grade teacher, which is the grade level that I currently teach as well. I had him when it was his first year of teaching, and he just really made an impact on me. He was just so welcoming and warm. And then also in college, he was also my host teacher in college for one of my internships. And then I also got hired at the school that I interned at, and I worked 2 doors down from him, so he also helped me to survive my first year of teaching as well. So 3 times, I guess you would say, that he's kind of taught me. So
what do you find to be the most enjoyable part of teaching?
Oh God, all of it. All of it. The relationships with the kids, the relationships with the coworkers, even down to the grading and the organizing and the decorating and the activities and all of it. I love all of it.
So, Ms. Silas, we know that to be selected as the Teacher of the Year at Bayshore, that person has to be involved in the totality of the school. What would we find Ms. Swells involved in besides teaching at Bayshore that makes Bayshore the great school that it is?
Well, Ms. Swells, as she said, she's new to Bayshore. She's involved in many aspects of CLPs. She brings great questions. She seeks guidance from our math coach. She teaches 4th grade math. She's involved in the whole school, because in order to be nominated and chosen for Teacher of the Year, she is making an impact on the majority of the staff because they chose her for Teacher of the Year. Her smile in the hallways, she greets everyone. When she comes in the front office, it is always good morning, with a bright, beautiful smile. She's very vibrant with her personality, just a natural leader, I would say. So
you have the opportunity to see magic happen in her class every day.
Yes.
If I were to visit and I said, take me to Ms. Swells' class, I gotta see it, what would we find happening once we walked in?
Okay, so when you open up the door, you're going to be bombarded with color in a good way. Her favorite color is pink. So her room is variations of pink and just very vibrant. But more than that, there's math vocabulary everywhere. There is anchor charts everywhere. There's manipulatives everywhere. There's students talking with students, but then Ms. Swales is going around and monitoring, making sure students are on task. There's whiteboards for their responses. So every child is expected to have an answer. So we have that type of accountability for students and teachers.
So, Ms. Wells, we know that teaching can be very difficult. First year, 15th year, 30th year, there's just so much going on in education. But to survive the field, there has to be a passion for the field, a love. So when did you first fall in love with teaching?
I definitely loved it when I started. However, I didn't start in St. Lucie County. I started in a different district. And when I came here, it was like fireworks went off. I fell in love with this district, the support that's provided, fell in love with my administration, principal, AP, coaches, they're amazing. And they, because of the support provided, it makes it really easy, I think, to love your job more. It's incredible. This district's amazing. I'm not even just saying that. I really, truly mean that.
I prompted you by saying there are many things going on that generates your love, but we know that we continue to face many challenges. What do you see as a major challenge that's facing education today?
I would probably say social media and possibly even video games. The attention span, unfortunately, is a little lower than I think what a lot of teachers would prefer. I myself am guilty, I think, of even doom scrolling on social media myself. But I think everything is good in moderation. And I do think that sometimes the students do ingest a little too much of that time. And I think it does negatively impact education.
What gives you the greatest career satisfaction?
Oh, the aha moments. And not even just the aha moments when kids, like, all of a sudden just clicks for them. I would say, in addition to that, just watching their perspective of learning and the process that goes along with that, watching that switch into something more positive. A lot of kids come in with a lot of background, a lot of history that we don't know a lot about, and that can distract them. But then watching, I think the kids say, wow, this is really fun, I enjoy this. And then previously it might have been hard for them, or maybe the year before they didn't have the best experience in that particular subject. I love watching them fall in love with learning and the process that comes along with that. That's, the best part.
So, Ms. Silas.
Yes.
Describe Ms. Wells for us using 3 adjectives and tell us why you chose those 3.
Okay, so the first one is organized. Ms. Wells is very organized. Color coding.
Elementary teacher, such an elementary teacher.
She is very organized. Her small group table has her standards, her manipulatives, her whiteboards. If they need highlighters, everything is in the center of students' desks. You can tell that she's very intentional at the start of the day, organizing her day for success. The second adjective is humble. Ms. Wells is very humble. Like I said, during CLPs, she asks questions. If she doesn't know something, she'll ask. She will seek out advice from our math coach. She is very humble.
And number 3?
The third, I would just say vibrant. Her personality is vibrant. Like I said, she has a great personality, very bubbly, and easy to get along with.
Vibrant, humble, and organized. Well, okay. Elementary school, right?
Yes.
So I ask you to bring along a prop with you that kind of defines you or describes you as an educator. Share with us your prop at this time.
Okay, so they kind of go together. So this is actually my class picture. This is the wonderful Mr. Sims that I was telling you about
yes.
earlier. I brought this class picture because he actually has the same class picture in his classroom still. And every year I take a teacher picture, he adds it to the bottom of it in his classroom.
Oh.
But we have the same picture. He had this printed for me my first year of teaching. And in addition to that, I had this wonderful blow-up torch that he gifted to me when I graduated college, at my graduation. And he said, "I'm passing the torch to you, kiddo. It's your turn now."
Yeah.
And it was really special. Sorry.
Okay. Don't make us all tear.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Might make it.
Yeah, awesome. That is awesome. Great inspiration to be the teacher that you are. So, Ms. Silas,
Yes.
is there anything that you haven't shared with us about the wonderful Ms. Wells that you want us to know?
Miss Wills is a very hard worker. I mean, everything that I have said, she is more than deserving of this honor, and it just speaks volumes to be nominated and get the privilege of Teacher of the Year for Bayshore when it's her first year at Bayshore. So that just goes to show the impact that she's made on her colleagues.
So, Ms. Wells, let's wrap it up. You are the ambassador for education at Bayshore. You have an opportunity to speak with parents, any other constituents, board members, the superintendent even. What's your message?
Gosh. I would say we just need to find our sparkle. I know that probably sounds cliche because I'm wearing an all pink outfit with a pink headband that has sparkles on it. But for real, I feel like when people are doing what they love, or they find a way to love it, they look at the glass half full versus half empty, having an attitude of gratitude, it can really make you glow from the inside out. And I think that that's the biggest message.
Thank you both for joining us. Thank you for sharing and letting us introduce you to many of our viewers here in St. Lucie Public Schools. Because again, as I said, you represent what's right, what's good, what's best for education here. Thank you, Ms. Silas. Thank you, Ms. Wells. And
Thank you.
congratulations on being the Teacher of the Year at Bayshore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
And once again, welcome to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. We're excited to have with us at this time Miss Christine Swink, who's the wonderful Teacher of the Year over at C.A. Moore Elementary School. Miss Swink, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
She's brought along with her the very proud and dynamic principal, Miss Alexandria Loudis. Miss Loudis, welcome.
Good morning.
As I stated to you earlier, we are so excited to have an opportunity to produce this show because it allows us the chance to introduce many of the dynamic teachers here in St. Lucie Public Schools to our viewing audience. With that said, Ms. Swink, would you give us a brief introduction of yourself? You know, where did you go to school? How long you've been teaching? That kind of bio information.
Of course. I've been teaching, this is my 26th year of teaching. Born and raised in Vero Beach, Florida, and went to University of Central Florida, and looking forward to quite a few more years.
Quite a few more years.
Yes.
Yeah, catch up with me. Catch up with me.
I might surpass you. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I really enjoy it.
Ms. Loudis, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I've been in the district since 2007. I'm currently the principal of Chester A. Moore K-8 Academy of Success, and love St. Lucie County.
I need to make sure that I get that name right. Chester A. Moore Academy of Success. K-8.
Academy of
I have to
Success.
remember it is
Yes.
a K-8 school now, so I'm putting that in my notes so I'll get it right, okay? So, Ms. Swink, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
I have always known. Both my aunts are educators, and I've just been around that environment. And I think what really did it for me, kind of locked it in for me, is I had the opportunity at my high school to do exploratory teaching my senior year. And I went back to my old elementary school, and I got to work with some of my old teachers. And that was really special to me, because I got to work with teachers that taught me, and here I am coming in. And many of them remembered me, and we shared some same stories. I'm like, how did you remember that? Some of them did. And that was just a really eye-opening experience for me. And prior to that, I was working at preschools. I've always enjoyed working around children. I've always gotten a lot of praise for, wow, you're so good with this little one or this little one. So I've kind of taken that and ran with it and said, maybe this is something I want to do.
So when you reflect on those experiences for your in high school and do you think that there is a person or multiple people that inspired you to become a teacher, or that you pattern your work after every day?
I think it was a kind of a group of people that were special to me, but one in particular was probably my 8th grade civics teacher, Mrs. Brooks. She took a bunch of us in front of the school board, and we tried to make some changes as far as styrofoam in the cafeteria, serving pizza on that and such. And she really believed in us and took a vested interest in us. And I think that was kind of who I model myself after, just taking a vested interest and not just educating the student, but finding out all about them, and taking vested interest in not just them in my classroom, but what do you want to be when you grow up? How are you going to get there? And just giving them just food for thought, and knowing that, come back and see me. I'm in your corner, whatever you need. Whether you need a letter for entrance to college, or just any kind of reference letter, just please come back and see me, which I do have quite a few come back and visit and see me, and run to me in stores.
Oh, I get it. Yes, yes. So, Ms. Loudis, you are there with Ms. Wink every day, but we know, number one, to be selected as the Teacher of the Year at Chester A. Moore K-8 Academy of Success. Told you I get it right.
Well done, sir.
You can't just be the teacher in your classroom. You have to be involved in the total makeup of the school. What other activities would we find Ms. Wink participating in?
She helps all around the school. You find her working with teachers in various grade levels. As the interventionist, she sees kids from all different grade levels. She also works as an intensive reading teacher for our middle school students. So she collaborates with teachers from kindergarten all the way through 7th grade. Our media teacher, she collaborates with reading strategies. You'll find her talking to teachers about data for their students within classrooms, helping wherever needed, after school activities, whatever we need. Ms. Swink is the first one available. Say, where do you need me? I'm here to help. Morning arrival, afternoon, she's all over campus.
We know about her involvement now, but what makes Ms. Swink the perfect candidate for this honor?
When you take a look at the progress her students make throughout the year, a lot of when we look at Teacher of the Year, we look at what they're doing for student achievement. And the students that she works with, you can see them get a love for reading when they start making those connections and are able to learn to read. And to see students that start below grade level in reading and make that progress where they're moving levels. She's had kids move out of intensive reading because of her instruction. That makes her the perfect Teacher of the Year. What she does to impact student achievement.
So, Ms. Wink, what makes you a good teacher?
Probably the love I have, and the love I have to give to the student. And they know it and they feel it, and I think I'm just like the biggest book pusher around. I'm always with my book cart or my book bin on my hip. I've had to change hips now. I have a little issue now. And now I have a rolling cart. But every day at dismissal, where's the books? Where's the books? And if I forget a day, you going to bring them tomorrow? What about chapter books? Can you bring some? Sure, I can bring some. So I'm always at the at dismissal around the buses, bus loop area, and I always have my bin of books, and I make sure I have, you know, all different levels and who wants what, and then I have specific books that I pick out for. I know this person's into space, this person's is, so I get to know them by name. I get to know what genre they might be interested to, and I hold them up like this on the way to the bus. Need a book, need a book, need a book, and sure enough, my bin is empty most every single day when I bring those books out there. So I want them to instill a love of reading, and I want them to want more, and that's what I love to see. Can I get more? Can I get another one?
So,
Absolutely.
So you've shared with us how you inspire the love of reading in children. What inspires you?
Probably the internal need to help, and maybe a spiritual need as well.
Okay.
To reach out and to share my love of academics, and just to model the best I can, a caring heart, and hopefully that will carry over to my students.
So, Ms. Loudis, describe Ms. Wink for me using 3 adjectives.
She's detail-oriented. She has her data binders, know exactly where every kid is, what they need, organized and flexible. Like I said, she will help wherever is needed, whether it be for testing a student individually or working in a classroom, working with a teacher, pulling different students different days. She's an all-around team player.
So, Ms. Wink, we ask you to bring along a prop with you that kind of talks about and describes you as an educator. Share that with us at this time, if you will, to give us a different kind of peek into the wonderful educator, Ms. Christine
Okay,
Swink.
I brought 2. The first one's quick.
Okay.
All right, the first one is every morning I start out with my Abide meditation, and that just gives me a good center before going into the classroom, and it helps me to have just a good growth mindset overall. So that's the first thing I start every morning with. The second thing is a tutu. And the reason I bring this is because you just got to do it for the kids. If it's a dress-up day, if it's any kind of special thing, just go all out, because it's worth rounding the corner in this or whatever I have on that day and seeing the biggest smile, especially from those ones they're maybe having a rough morning, or they don't smile very often, but they'll give you a big smile. And then if you don't see them face to face and have a conversation with them that day, they'll come running up to you the next day. Miss Swing, I saw you in your blue tutu. Or Miss Swing, I saw you dressed as a minion yesterday. And they just know that you're all in and you'll do whatever and put whatever kind of crazy get up just to see them smile.
Cool. So, Ms. Loudis, what makes Ms. Swink the perfect candidate for this honor?
She embodies everything we look for in an educator: the caring, the love, the heart for what she does. Like she said, the dressing up, seeing her as an elf at the end of the hallway. She's a perfect candidate for this award in both raising student achievement and having a heart for children.
Ms. Swink, if you could leave us with one statement about education and about the career to inspire us to keep doing the great things that we're doing, what would that statement be?
Oh gosh. Statement. It would probably be more of a motto than anything. Just
Okay.
Positivity, no negativity. Just try to bring into it what you want to see come out of it. And if you have something negative built up, try to leave that at the door. because
Well-
it's all about the students.
I'm going to tell both of you thank you for joining me and sharing, letting us introduce you to our awesome viewers here for St. Lucie Public Schools. And congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year for Chester A. Moore K-8 Academy of Success.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello, and at this time, we are pleased to welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show the wonderful Miss Jennifer John Vieira, who's the Teacher of the Year at Floresta Elementary. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
She's brought along our great friend and supporter, the proud principal there, Mr. John Keeler. Keeler, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Perry. Glad to be here.
It is an exciting moment to have an opportunity to speak with both of you. We really love when we have an opportunity to produce this show because it lets us introduce to our viewing audience the many wonderful teachers that we have here in St. Lucie Public Schools. So with that said, I'm going to ask both of you to briefly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. Well, again, I'm Miss Jennifer Jean-Bier. I work at Floresta Elementary. I teach 4th and 5th grade ELA and writing. I've been in education for a total of 13 years. I studied at Florida International University, where I earned my bachelor's degree in early childhood education, my master's degree in educational leadership at University of North Florida. When I first started teaching, I started in preschool, and I've been in Broward County the entire time. And then I moved up in the ranks into elementary, so then I know all about from age 3rd to 5th grade of teaching.
Okay, Mr. Keeler.
My name is John Keeler. I'm the proud principal of Floresta Elementary. This is my second year there at Floresta Elementary. I'm going into my 24th year here at St. Lucie Public Schools. Spent all my time here and proud St. Lucie Public School educator.
Wow, I had no idea it'd been that long, Mr. Keeler. So, Ms. Jean-Vier,
Yes.
have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
No, but I did always know that I wanted to work with children. So at a younger age, maybe I watched too much medical series. I thought maybe a pediatrician, maybe a pediatric surgeon. But in my adult years, early adult years, when I went back to school, I had like a revelation about the teachers that I had growing up. Some of the phenomenal teachers that I had experience with, and some teachers, maybe not the best experience, but I understood that, they're the ones that helped form me to the person I am today. And with those experiences, it really guided me to, teaching. So then that's where I started from the preschool for the love of children. And with my prior experiences from my teachers, I understood the importance of providing that great foundation for students, and that's where it started.
So do you think in your reflection of those positive forces that you pattern yourself after any of them, or is there one that sticks out?
Yes. Middle school, Miss Della Faye, she stuck out because all of the teachers, they were teaching the curriculum, which is great, but the way she built relationships with the students, the way she would make learning fun. I still remember when we read Highwayman, and then she brought the song in as well. I would never forget one day she was teaching us about how important it is to follow the directions on paper, and she gave us a scavenger hunt, and we all started, and we're running around the class, and there's this one student sitting there, and the instruction says, if you're reading this, sit and wait until, you're told otherwise. But just everything that she did, she made it very engaging for us, and we knew that we can trust her, we can go to her for everything, and so she geared me there.
So when I think about the scavenger hunt, it had to be a very fun activity.
It was fun.
What do you find most enjoyable about teaching?
Building the relationships with the students. Every student have a different background, a different fun foundation. So just taking the time out, especially the first 2 weeks of school, to really analyze each child individual by individual, learn their what do they enjoy doing, their characteristics, where do they come from. And I truly believe when you take the time out to get to know each child, and then now you incorporate the learning, you build that relationship with them. They understand that you care. And I understood as a student, for me to learn, I had to understand, I could trust this adult.
So, Mr. Keeler, you have the wonderful opportunity to watch this magic happen. I hear it in Ms. Janvier's voice. If you were to take me into the classroom, I popped in and say, let's go to Ms. Jennifer Janvier's class, what would we find happening?
You would find this teacher full of energy, smiling, has those relationships in place. You'll see the students have no problem talking to her, working with her. She'll be asking questions, responses from the entire class, or you might see small group instruction happening where she's making every student accountable, have accountable talk, and also just showing that she cares for each one of them and they know it. You can see that it gleams off them, her energy.
So if you had to describe Ms. Janvier with a hashtag, what would your hashtag be for her?
Her hashtag would probably be unstoppable. Just because no matter what I ask Ms. Janvier to do or what she encounters in her classroom, she goes through it, exceptionally brings them up to the highest level possible, and exceeds all expectations, no matter what.
So, Ms. Janvier, what do you think has been your greatest impact so far?
Well, my greatest impact, I would say, is just watching the kids grow and learn. Each year, each school year that goes by, a different set of kids, but just watching the growth in themselves. And also with me stepping aside to see the culture that we built in the classroom, the way that they're interacting with each other, and to watch it carry on to the following grade level, and those connections are still there. So for me, that's the greatest impact.
I know from past experiences, for you to be selected for this position, there must be an innate love for teaching that is visible to your colleagues. When would you say you first fell in love with teaching?
When I first started teaching in preschool, just working with the kids, helping them learn and watching the aha moments, and also watching the moments of, I need a little bit help, but them having the trust to come to me or come to other peers. So watching that in action, that's where all sparks and the lights really opened up. It's not only me teaching, it's the kids learning and learning from each other. And then there's even parts where they become the teacher in the class.
So, Mr. Keeler, describe Ms. Janvier for me with 3 adjectives and just tell us why you've chosen those 3.
Okay, so first adjective would be empathetic. She's empathetic to all the students that come into her classroom or she comes in contact. They might not even be in her classroom. And, she shows that dependable. Like I said earlier, no matter what I ask Ms. Janvier to do, she takes care of it. Don't have to ask twice or wonder what's going to happen. Very dependable and reliable on that. And the third one is effervescent. She just is so lively in the hallways, in the classroom, in the cafeteria, wherever. She is just a star shining. And it's not like bringing all the attention to her. She's shining with the students and making them shine as well.
So, Ms. Janvier, experienced teacher, got some years. What advice would you give to a new teacher?
To take it all in, do not rush yourself, pace yourself, and find your marigold. I remember even when I first came to this district, having to learn a new set of district rules and implementations, but I found my marigold where it was a veteran teacher who she was willing and able to help me with everything. And I had, of course, the resources from our amazing, for us, the family, just there ready to support and give me feedback. Take the feedback, give yourself time and grace, and always operate from your heart with love.
So what gives you the greatest career faction daily?
Oh, the students. Everything is about the students. So again, watching them work together, implement what they learned, be able to teach the lesson, go home and share about it. I have parents reaching out to me on Class Dojo. Oh, my kid was talking about how you guys were learning about figurative language and other aspects. So just seeing the kids have the joy for learning is enough for me.
So, Mr. Keeler, what makes Ms. Janvier the perfect candidate for this honor?
Ms. Janvier is the perfect candidate for this honor because she is just everything you want in a teacher, whether it's in the classroom, out about the school. She's always willing to jump in, and she just works with the students. You'll find her in the hallways speaking different languages to the students and then explaining what it means just to broaden the horizons. You'll see her in the classroom posing questions, making the kids think. And they're thinking in a good way, and they're happy to do it. They're not like, oh man, and they're giving her answers that she's expecting. So, I mean, just her overall well-being is just an asset to Floresta Elementary, and we're so glad she's there.
Oh, I can't wait to visit the classroom.
Yes, come on in.
So I asked you to bring along with you a prop that kind of describes you as an educator. Share with us at this time.
Okay, so the first, let me talk about the Play-Doh first. It's just as a reminder that we are molding children. So then there's different colors, different type of children, different backgrounds, demographics, but as educators, we are molding them, and they are the future of the world.
I love that.
So this is a reminder. And then this one is very special to me because last school year, the end of the school year, the kids, you know, they create nice notes, and I keep all of them.
I probably still have some too. So.
Yes, but this one in particular, Teacher of the Year award goes to, and then inside there's some adjectives: the world's most awesome, beautiful, smartest, prettiest, brightest, joyful, loving, caring, kind, safe, blooming, creative teacher ever, and all of the kids' signatures. But this year, I get to represent them as the Teacher of the Year.
That's cool.
So it's like they wrote it into place.
Yeah, they spoke it into reality.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Keeler, is there anything that you haven't shared with us about Ms. Janvier that you want to share?
I just want to share Ms. Janvier. I mean, she goes above and beyond at our school. She's a coach for our Girls on the Run after school. She's at every family event we have, volunteering her time, working with students, whether it's out in the parking lot, like she said, calling student names earlier, or, you know, she's in the classroom and I'm dropping off 3 or 4 students that need Ms. Janvier in their life.
Yeah.
She accepts it willingly, always smiling, always ready to do the best for the children.
So, Ms. Janvier, let's wrap it up. You are the ambassador for education at Floresta. You could possibly be the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools or the state of Florida. You would have an opportunity to speak to many constituents. What would your message be?
All hands on deck. We need support from the community. We need support from, of course, the parents, really creating opportunities for parents to be involved in their children learning. Teachers support with the coaches and the interventionists, just providing, you know, support where it's needed with behavior and everything, but all hands on deck. It takes a community, and without that community, I feel like there's areas for different laps of education and just the well-being of the child. Children are our future. All hands.
All hands on deck.
Yes.
Mr. Keeler, thank you for coming, Ms. Janvier.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, and congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Again, welcome to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. We are excited to welcome at this time Miss Renika Hart, who is the wonderful Teacher of the Year over at Lawnwood Elementary. Miss Hart, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
She's brought along my inspiration and a proud principal there, Miss Felicia Nixon. Nixon, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Again, you know, we're excited every chance we have an opportunity to introduce wonderful teachers from our school district to our community viewers. Ms. Hart, with that said, give us a little bit about your background, where you went to school, how long you've been teaching, so that we can further introduce you to our viewers.
I'm a proud veteran, go Army, wife and mother. I attended college at IRSC and Western Governors University. This is my 8th year of teaching.
Great, great. Ms. Nixon?
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Felicia Nixon, and I'm the principal of Lawnwood Elementary, and I have been a principal in this school district for the last 21 years.
So, Ms. Hart, after being a vet, even during that time, did you always know deep down that you wanted to be a teacher?
No, sir.
What changed? What made you?
I had my daughter in the military, and I was missing all of her first steps, first everything from being gone so much. So when I decided to, in my service, I was like, I needed a career that would allow me to be a mom. So I wasn't sure at first what to do, social work, nursing, or teaching. So at IRSC, you have to go to intro classes. And I went to an intro to education class. We have to go into a classroom and just watch for 5 hours to see if you might like it. And something in my soul clicked. I knew from then on, oh, I'm going to be right here doing this with all these children. This is what God wants me to do. So I became a teacher.
So when you think back to your time as a teacher, do you think that you kind of pattern your daily structure after a teacher that you might have had or a group of teachers?
Mostly my pattern is when a teacher that I had when I was in the 5th grade, Miss Flaherty. And I don't remember the curriculum. I remember her being passionate. And my behavior was off of the chain. And she just saw me, the little girl who was bad for a reason. And so I'm that teacher now. So whenever I have a student who is a little bit tougher to love, that's my baby, because I know how that feels. So I pattern my passion after what I obviously was a teacher. The curriculum will come, but the love definitely has to be there.
So what do you see as the most enjoyable part of teaching?
This part of teaching is the little bit of progress they make. You know, we go for a little bit of gain, a little bit of progress every time. Everyone can't get it right the first time. When I say a little bit of progress, your first time saying a word in English, your first time getting a yellow or a green, oh my goodness, we outside that day. That makes me want to come back again and again and do it more and more. I love seeing the little bit of progress that we make.
So, Ms. Nixon,
Yes.
to be selected the Teacher of the Year over at the wonderful Longwood Elementary School, we know there's time on task. We don't break for anything. What else do we find Ms. Hart involved in that makes her the person that's been selected for Teacher of the Year?
So one thing about Mrs. Hart, her love for teaching and learning is evident through her interactions with the students and the teachers. So her scope and her influence, of course, is within the four walls of her classroom, because she has created a student-centered learning environment. And it goes beyond her hallway and throughout the campus, because she is a person that we call on. She has a model classroom. And when it's time for us to do teacher field trips or time for lessons to be discussed, she will lead those sessions with teachers, and she does so in a cooperative, collaborative manner. And not only does she support her grade level team with implementing and designing lessons, her influence goes throughout the school. She has adopted some of our teachers, some teachers that are maybe struggling with classroom management or maybe just procedural items. It doesn't matter. They feel confident and they know that they can go to Ms. Hart for support. And one thing about her love for teaching and this work that we do, and for students, it is exemplified in all that she does.
So I dropped by campus one day, and I know you don't let people just interrupt class because it's time on task, but I have to see the dynamic Renika Hart in action. You take me to the room, what do we see?
You will see students who take control of their learning. You will see student accountability. You will see students who understand their status, understand their scores. They are aware of their academic goals. And most importantly, they have outlined steps in order to achieve those goals. So they have actionable steps and they work towards those goals, and they're able to communicate that with you. You will also see students who are engaged in discussing the content, working in groups, and they each have a role. The students really do lead her classroom. And she always checks in to make sure that they understand the content, and she does so through a series of prompting to make sure that they understand. And they don't feel embarrassed, like, you will hear a child say, Miss Hart, I didn't understand that part. You don't hear that in most classrooms. But the comfort is there, and they feel that they can take a risk because they know that with that risk, there will come a reward.
So, Ms. Hart, this passion that we hear, that you just talk about, that Ms. Nixon talks about, has to come from a love for what you do every day.
Yes.
When do you think you first fell in love with teaching?
It definitely was when I walked into the classroom my first year, my intro to teaching. But then when you get your own classroom, and there's these 4 walls and all these babies, and everything is riding on you and how much you love them, that was it for me. Sold to the girl in the black dress. I just love, these are my babies. I just love it.
So what gives you the greatest satisfaction daily about the work you do?
Seeing the progress. You know, you have that student who I'm like, girl, there he go. I'm like, yeah, there he go. That's my baby. Seeing them not get into that fight and walk away. Seeing what I've taught them, have them implement that every day is someone doing something right. That satisfies me immensely.
So, Ms. Nixon, describe Ms. Hart for us using 3 adjectives and tell us why you've chosen those 3.
Okay, the first adjective I would choose would be vibrant, because she's bold and she's lively, and she definitely understands what it takes to win over the students, and there's a lot of enthusiasm in her presentation and in her communication with students. I think the second term that I would use to describe her would be personable, because she's always sharing her story with the students. They get to see her not only as a teacher, but they get a view of her as a 5th grade student, because she often tells her journey as an elementary student. And so she's very, very personable. And the last descriptor I would use would be smart. She is brilliant. She's very smart, super innovative, and very creative. She's a smart teacher. So those are my 3 terms: smart, personable, and vibrant.
All right. So, Ms. Hart, let me do this first. There's a lot of challenges facing our wonderful profession today. What do you see as one of the most pressing challenges, and why?
The most pressing challenge I see is that whatever happens in politics does trickle down to our classroom. It's hard to teach a child who is hungry. So when there's a shortage of groceries or food stamps, it does affect our babies. And you can't teach a child, so you'll stop teaching to make sure they eat. So the biggest challenge is whatever's happening in politics, it does trickle down to the classroom. These kids are watching and seeing, and they have questions and they have needs. As an educator, I'm a mom first. I'm going to meet that need first, and you can eat while we're doing small group. To teach around it and just still keep going, meet the need, but still keep going.
So we ask you to bring a prop with you that kind of describes you as a teacher. Let us in on your prop, please.
Hashtag no judgment. My prop is this pillow. So here's the story, so calm down. So in my classroom, I want my babies to be able to self-regulate. Sometimes it is hard if you're not taught how to just calm yourself down. So in my class, there's a corner, it's a rocking chair, which I could not carry in my heels, so I bought the pillow instead. So the pillow is where my students can go and just sit and hug it and just breathe. There's a timer, you have 3 minutes. So this made my mother-in-law, she quilted this for me. And there's patterns you can rub on it and just stroke it to calm yourself down, and you have 3 minutes to hug the pillow and then get right back into class, get right back to work. This help them self-regulate themselves, to calm down and then get back to work.
So, Ms. Nixon, is there anything else that you may want to share with us about the wonderful Mrs. Renika Hart?
Mrs. Hart is definitely talented. When we think about the art and science of teaching, she is on both sides of it. She understands that teaching is an art, and she understands that through that art, comes those different dramatic, she's very dramatic. To start the poetic unit, the poem unit, she dressed in a costume and she presented a poem to her class. So she has that creative side. And the science of teaching, she understands the standards, the best ELA standards, and she has an understanding of the vertical progression of those standards. So she truly understands what students should be able to do in 5th grade and the standards below 5th grade, and how to help teachers so that students are mastering grade level content and that they're ready for 5th grade. And she does an excellent job of preparing students for middle school as well. So I would say that she covers the art and the science of teaching, and that is why she is our Teacher of the Year for Longwood Elementary.
Yeah, we have to always remember they go hand in hand.
Yes.
They go hand in hand. Yeah. So last question for you. You are the ambassador for education at Longwood Elementary, possibly for the Teacher of the Year for the school district and the state of Florida. You have an opportunity to speak with many different people from many walks of life, policymakers, parents. What's your message?
We still need the village. We need all hands on deck. Ms. Nixon has shown me, before I was like, my classroom, no one come in. I learned along with, we have people from retired coming in to help pull a smart group. We need all hands on deck for our babies. We still need the village. That's my message. Come in, come volunteer, come help, support, give an internship. We need everybody to help with these babies.
Well, Ms. Hart, Ms. Nixon, thank you
Yes.
both for joining us today, and congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello, and once again, we are excited to have the opportunity to welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show the wonderful, extraordinaire Miss Bankin, who is the proud Teacher of the Year over at Southport Middle School. Welcome.
Thank you.
She has brought along with her our great friend, the very proud principal there, Miss Bree Lamb. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It is always exciting for us to have an opportunity to produce this show. It allows us to give a brief peek into the dynamic teaching field that we have here in St. Lucie Public Schools to our regular viewers. So, Mrs. Bankin, with that being said, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yes, my name is Julie Bankin. This is my 11th year teaching. I've always taught math. I went to school at the Evergreen State College in Washington State, and I have a master's in teaching.
Cold.
Yeah, you're right.
Welcome to Florida.
Thank you.
Mrs. Lamb, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Bree Lamb. I'm the proud principal at Southport Middle School. This is my 20th year in education. All of those years were here in St. Lucie County. I actually was raised here in St. Lucie County. I had the privilege of attending St. Lucie Public Schools and went on to graduate from FAU. And now I'm the proud principal at Southport. I have my children all attended school here, my husband as well, and we're happy to be here and be part of the community here in St. Lucie County.
Again, to both of you, welcome, welcome, welcome. Miss Bankin, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
I think from second grade, I always wanted to be a teacher. I had a second grade teacher, Mrs. Armstrong, who saw me and recognized that I was somebody who needed a little extra TLC, and she gave that to me, and I wanted to do that for other students as well.
So would you say that you patterned your work daily after Miss Armstrong?
I think I pattern after her, as well as one of my professors from college, Dr. McCreary. He showed me that anybody is capable of doing hard things. Things that once scared me, gave me anxiety. He gave me the confidence to try and be okay with failing and move forward. So, yeah, thank you.
So 11 years in, what's the most enjoyable part of teaching for you?
I think the most enjoyable part of teaching for me is seeing the change in students when they start the year with anxiety and fear walking into the math class, and through our interactions, we gain a relationship, and pretty soon they're having lunch with me. They're no longer afraid to ask questions, volunteer to go up to the board, and by the end of the school year, math is no longer their least favorite class. Sometimes it's their favorite class.
So, Ms. Lamb, you get to see the magic happen every day. If I were to drop in and say, Ms. Lamb, I gotta see Ms. Bankin in action, you walk me to the room, tell me what we would see.
It's funny you should ask, because honestly, I showcase Miss Bankin in her classroom as much as possible because she is extraordinaire. Her passion and love for math is seen, but more importantly, her relationships with students. She absolutely takes some of the most scary critical content and some students who are struggling and makes relationships and teaches them in ways that helps them to, number one, understand the concepts better, and number two, be able to apply those in other situations. So, it's just a magical place. There's a lot of student conversation, a lot of discourse between the teachers and students, a lot of questions. It truly is magical.
Describe her for us using 3 adjectives and tell us why.
If I had to use 3 adjectives, I would say compassionate, I would say creative, and I would say rigorous. She holds everybody to the same level of expectations. There's no exceptions.
So I'm going to push you, Ms. Bankin.
Okay.
When will you know that you're a success?
I think every student that walks in my classroom is an opportunity for success. So I don't think that there's a finish line. I think every student, every class, every year, I'm provided the opportunity to reach success with each student. And that success happens when students are no longer afraid to try something that is new and challenging and difficult, and they originally may have wanted to give up, but through our work together, they know they're not in it alone. We're in it together, and through that process, we can find solutions.
So if you could change one thing about education, what would it be?
One thing about education I'd like to change, I think, is understanding that every student is capable of learning. Sometimes I feel like the difficult students, the challenging students, they need a little extra time, a little extra effort, and they are worth our time, they are worth our effort. And so I would like to encourage all of us to continue giving that to them.
So Mrs. Lamb, what makes Mrs. Bankin the perfect candidate for this honor?
I would say what makes her the perfect candidate is simply just what she just said, Dr. Perry, that her stance on that there is no finish line, that her work is never done. She's always investing in students and making the impossible possible. I want to share just a little snippet of an example with you. Miss Bankin last year taught our 8th grade pre-algebra. Now, pre-algebra in middle school means that the majority of her students are level 1 and 2 students. After PM1, only 5% had a learning gain after PM1. After PM3, 91% of her students had a learning gain. So when we talk about standing behind every student, and every student is capable, and moving them closer to the finish line, and ensuring their success by giving them what they need on an individual basis, Miss Bankin is doing that.
Great results come from great teachers.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, Miss Bankin, we ask you to bring a prop along with you that kind of describes you as a professional educator. Share with us your prop.
I brought 2 pieces. One is a handwritten note from a former student of mine, and this well-worn white eraser. And it's because this student, Riley, she struggled. She had confidence issues, but she would come in for extra help. And in this letter, she talks about the fact that she learned from working with me that no matter what we do, we can always use the big white eraser to erase our mistakes and start over. And I think that's a great message, not just for math, but in life in general.
So, Mrs. Lamb, is there anything that you haven't shared with us that you really want us to know about Mrs. Bankin?
Oh goodness, there are so many great things that Miss Bankin is doing on our campus, from holding tutoring during her own lunches and after school, on her own time. But one of the things that I think that really set her apart and really showed me just who she is as a person and the character and her authenticity was last year at our graduation. I have to share this story. Last year, and I was really surprised you didn't bring that as your prop, to be honest. Last year, we have our 8th grade moving up ceremony where our 8th graders are then moving on to high school. And so it becomes their end of their journey with us. And we have several students, many students who did not have the appropriate dresses or shoes or shirts and ties and things like that to wear. So she opened the closet. And Miss Bankin spent many a weekends out finding gently used or brand new, formal dresses, Sunday best dresses, ties, shirts, all of these things. And she worked with the community and the staff to get donations, and then all students could come and shop it. And I love it. We had quite a few students who came and shopped, and then she was doing alterations on them and really helping students. And I think that just speaks to her character and shows what type of teacher she is. She's a difference maker, that's for sure.
Awesome. So let's play a speed round.
Oh boy.
I'll throw something out and you give me the first answer, okay?
Okay.
Ready? Favorite food?
Tacos.
Favorite restaurant?
Taco Tiki.
Oh, staying in the family, right? Favorite movie?
Valley Girl.
Sports team?
Seahawks.
Favorite song?
Staying Alive.
Bee Gees?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Favorite quote or motivational saying?
I can fly.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. You are the ambassador for education over at Southport Middle School. You have an opportunity to speak to many families, school board members, superintendent, community members. What's your message?
My message is we all need to love on our kids. Everybody needs to come together and support them and believe in them. And the more we do that, the more success we're going to find.
Mrs. Lamb, Ms. Bankin, thank you for sharing with us, joining us, and sharing with us. And congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Welcome back to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. We are excited to have joining us at this time the wonderful Miss Kristeria Thompson, who is the wonderful Teacher of the Year at Del Casson Educational Complex. Welcome.
Hello.
She's brought along with her the proud principal there, Mr. Gerald Early. Welcome, Mr. Early.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. We're excited to have this opportunity to talk with you, Ms. Thompson, because your presence here today lets us introduce some of the wonderful teachers in St. Lucie Public Schools to our viewers. With that being said, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers, a little bit about your background, where you went to school, how long you've been teaching, that sort of thing?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kristeria. I'm a St. Lucie County native. I graduated from this district about 15 years ago. I have a background in human services from Indian River State College. I recently obtained my master's degree in special education in June. And I am a critical thinking teacher at Del Casson Education Complex.
And what school did you graduate from here?
I actually attended Central all 4 of my high school years, but some things happened, and I ended up graduating from Drop Back In Academy, which is an alternative education environment, in 2010.
Cool. We always are excited when St. Lucie natives come back and work in the system.
I have to.
Yeah. Mr. Early, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Jerry Early. This is my 11th year in St. Lucie County Public Schools. I think I'm somewhere in the 31, 32-year range.
Somewhere, yeah.
In education.
But who's counting, right?
Exactly. Starting out as a teacher in Miami and finally finding my way to Alaska, Orange County, and back here so I could end my career at home.
Okay. So, Ms. Thompson, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yes, I was one of those kids that, during the summertime when everybody went outside to play, we had the people with the balls, people climbing trees. I was the kid on the porch with the papers and the crayons, like, okay, guys, it's time for school. Let's write our names. I always was alone because nobody wanted to. Everybody wanted to play. No one wanted to play school during the break. But yes, I've known I wanted to be a teacher for a while.
Do you think in your daily work with students that you kind of pattern yourself after a teacher or a group of teachers that you have?
Absolutely.
Can we share?
Yes, in high school, I had a coach named Katie Clive. She's actually still in the district. She was one of those people, she gave her all, she gave her time. She's one of the reasons that I am a teacher because she was selfless. Like, she gave her time during the summer, during the holidays. Even when she started having kids, she will bring her kids with us during our tournaments. And just to have someone give so much of themselves, even when they didn't have to, because she was a coach, you know, so she didn't have to teach outside of coaching, but she did.
So, what do you find is the most enjoyable part of teaching?
When I have a student, because I'm in a self-contained classroom, so I have students that come from kind of everywhere, and I've had students that before couldn't stay in the classroom for the full day. So to have a student that couldn't sit down when they first arrived and didn't know themselves that well, to be able to say, I actually enjoy being in class, and I can't wait for the break to be over with. Those type of accomplishments, those small things matter to me.
Oh, of course, yeah. Those little small things end up being the details that get us to the next step. Mr. Early.
Sir.
You have the opportunity to see the magic happen in Ms. Thompson's room each and every day. If I were to visit and you took me to her class, tell me what we might see.
Well, I think that one of the words that she uses to describe someone that mentored her, it was selfless. You'd see a teacher interacting with her kids in a way that gives them an opportunity really to be successful. The relationships that she builds and that you have with her students. I know that we all are about building relationships, but when you see the connectedness between student and teacher, that's exactly what we want as school leaders, as principals, as humans, is the human connectedness.
So, Mr. Early, describe her for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why you've chosen those 3.
Well, I had a different one, but I'm going to put selfless because that is, it just stuck out when she said that. I would also say motivating, encouraging, and I think I was allowed one other, and I would just say inspirational. When you see someone come out and inspire not just kids, but every day at dismissal, she's out at dismissal with the admin team, with the rest of us, interacting with her kids, interacting with the other adults. She's really inspirational to our campus.
So, Ms. Thompson, when did you first fall in love with teaching?
It had to be before I started school. My sister is 8 years my senior, and she taught me how to read before I entered school. So when I got into school and I realized that I was kind of ahead of the other students, I would help my classmates, well, this is this is that, and I kind of figured, this is kind of fun, I like this. So it had to be before I was school age.
Okay. What do you find to be the most challenging part of your day?
Sometimes parents, because they don't quite get to see the students in the same light as we get to see them. So when it's time to connect with the parents, some parents are great, and some parents, they don't really have as much time, whether it's jobs, life, or whatever. So I try to work best with the parents when I have outside school office hours. I'm available on the weekend. So just getting that connection, like actually building a connection with the parents, sometimes it can be very challenging.
So tell me this. What do you think has been your greatest impact on your students?
Like I said before, I graduated from an alternative school, so sometimes when our students at Del Casas, they see themselves like they're not at a regular location, they kind of feel down against themselves, and I tell them, hey, this is your chance for your second opportunity. You're still in school, you're still showing up, you're still doing what you have to do. So pretty much just letting my students know that even though this is not where you want to be, you still have time to get where you want to be.
Mr. Early, what makes Ms. Thompson the perfect candidate for this honor?
I think it's the above and beyond. I think it's the community connectedness. I think it's the real life experience that she has had going through an alternative program to finish. If that doesn't inspire others to be successful, then I don't know what does. Alternative doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means different. We all learn at a different pace, in a different way, and we just need caring adults. She is a caring adult.
So if I ask you to describe her using a hashtag, what would your hashtag for her be and why?
Hashtag believe, because we, including Ms. Thompson, believe that we need to be goldfish. We forget. Every day a child has a new chance to be successful. We don't hold grudges. We forget the behavior to change the behavior.
So, Ms. Thompson, I asked you to bring along with you a prop that kind of describes you as an educator. Would you share that with us at this time?
I brought a couple of props, but I try to keep it simple.
We have time.
Okay, these are my props. So these are letters from students, co-workers, parents, and this pretty much keeps me knowing anytime I'm at a point to where I'm not sure what's next or a couple of I need a breather, I pull out these letters and I read them. This letter here is from my first year from a student, just letting me know that she felt like she couldn't do it. Being in an alternative setting was disappointing for her because she was a 4.0 student. She made a mistake and I let her know this is not the end all be all. This is the alternate route to get you back to where you need to be. And she let me know, because she came from a background with, from Haitian background, so she wasn't really familiar with a lot of the cultures here. So I had to let her know, you just get in where you fit in and you learn. And it was big to me. She bought me this thing and I was like, you don't have to give me anything. And I tried to give it back to her, but she wanted me to have this. And it's this look, because she know I love jewelry, but as you can see, so she bought me this Love Forever and it had roses and it had like a little necklace in there. And so I keep these letters with this to remind me why I'm doing this.
Awesome. Yes. So, Ms. Early, is there anything else that you want to share with us about Ms. Thompson that we haven't talked about already?
I think it's pretty clear that the compassion, the drive, the empathy, the connectedness, the commitment is evident just in talking to her and to have this opportunity to share with who's watching. I just wish her all the best. I'd build a school around them. I wish I had a building full of them just like her.
I understand. So, Ms. Thompson, what would your advice be to a new teacher in your setting?
Definitely to find your crowd, get you a mentor, someone who's been there for a while, get you someone that hasn't been there for a while. Just get a team of fellow educators. It could be your administration team, even people from your community. Get a team, because at one point you will need a shoulder to lean on, or someone to ask a question, or somebody who has advice or information that you don't quite know. Because it's a lot in the beginning where you're trying to find your place, your subject area, all the testing we have to pass. It could be a lot. So you need someone that has been there that could tell you once you're past this point, it's cool breezing after that. So just find a team.
Okay, final question for you. As the Teacher of the Year for Delcassin, you are automatically their ambassador for education. You have an opportunity to speak with many people, different walks of life, could be politicians, could be school board members, could be the superintendent, fellow teachers. What's your message?
Surrounding Delcassin, I always tell my students, it's okay to make a mistake, but what we do is unlearn and relearn. We unlearn these behaviors that we've been doing, we've been having our whole life. It's okay, but you have opportunity to relearn. Never think making a mistake is the end all be all, because we all make mistakes. It's always an opportunity to better yourself. Don't ever get stuck in your mistake. Of course, acknowledge it, because you have to learn from the past. Acknowledge it, sit in it, move forward.
It's been a pleasure having the opportunity to speak with both of you, Ms. Thompson, Mr. Early. Thank you both for joining us, and congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Excited to welcome at this time to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight show the wonderful Miss Ava Roslin, who is the Teacher of the Year over at Forest Grove Middle School. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
She's brought along with her the very proud, dynamic principal there, Miss Keonisha Bobo. Welcome, Mrs. Bobo.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We are excited to have this opportunity to speak with both of you. As I tell everyone, this gives us an opportunity to introduce just a few teachers to the public. letting them know that you represent all that's right, what's good, and best in education here in St. Lucie Public Schools. With that being said, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Of course. My name is Ava Roslin. I'm Jamaican. I was born and grown in Jamaica. I moved to the States when I was 20, so my high school well, not my high school, but my college was here in the States. I went to the University of Phoenix, and I went to American Intercontinental Online, and I did not do education, so I eventually, later on, decided to branch out in education field with teaching. So I've been teaching now for 8 years.
Mrs. Bobo?
I am the proud principal of Forest Grove. This is my 9th year in administration. However, I've only worked in St. Lucie Public Schools, so this is my 18th year working with St. Lucie County School District.
So you did not do education. I heard that.
Correct.
What made you become a teacher?
Ever since I was a child. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to do teaching. It was my passion. I was the one to be telling my cousins how to say their ABCs, telling them how to count. I just had that feel for teaching. But unfortunately, it did not start out the way I wanted to in the beginning. There were circumstances where I could not go into education right away. So I just always had in the back of my mind, I'm going to get there.
So when you think about your time as a teacher, finally getting there,
yes.
Do you think you pattern your work, your day after a teacher that you had previously or a group of teachers?
Somewhat. One of the main teachers that made an impact for me, why I actually more fell in love with teaching, was in high school, my math teacher. That was in Jamaica. Just the way she taught, just the way she explains everything, just the way she loves to teach. I just fell in love with that more and more, and I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do. So
you fell in love with the education part. It led you to teaching finally. When would you say that you actually fell in love with having your own classroom, being that teacher?
So I've been teaching now for 8 years, and I would say my 2nd year. My first year was a little bit rocky,
could be.
But I was like, this is what I've always wanted to do. I'm not backing up. I am in. I am going to keep going. So my 2nd year, and that, of course, was at Forest Grove. And I have never left. I've been at Forest Grove for now 7 years.
Awesome.
So,
awesome. So, Mrs. Bobo, you get to see the magic happen every day. If I were to drop in and say, hey, let's go to Miss Roslin's room. I want to see it. What would we find once we visited?
Well, you wouldn't have to ask, because we often visit her rooms to showcase all the great things that happen within her classroom. What you would see is a lot of real-world applications. She teaches math. This is her first year in 7th grade. Before, she was in 6th grade. Since I've been there, she was in 6th grade. She actually volunteered to loop up with her students, which we are loving because they did not lose any stamina from the year before. They know her expectations, they know the routines. So that was a really good situation for us to be in. You will probably see a lot of manipulatives. Miss Roslyn sometimes is on the floor with her kids. She makes her entire classroom from the ceiling to the floor a learning environment. So they could be doing manipulatives, they could be finding areas on the floor, but a lot of engagement and a lot of accountability. So, and it's consistent. It's not just like, okay, this is what we're going to do today. This is our lesson. It's every single day. You don't have students that don't want to be in her class. All students want to be in Ms. Roslin's class. Even if they have different teachers, they ask, is it okay if, even if it's just for a day, but because they're challenged and because she has a high level of accountability, the students just rise to that. So it's always a wonderful place, and I'm pretty sure a lot of district personnel can say that they actually have been exposed to it because she is one of the rooms that we highlight when we have visitors on our campus.
Describe her for me using 3 adjectives and tell us why you've chosen those 3.
I would say she's very collaborative. She is very reflective and effective. I chose those 3 because Like I said, Miss Rosalind was in 6th grade last year with a different team of teachers. She moved up to 7th grade, and each time she takes the initiative to be the leader in that hallway. She takes accountability for how the hallway looks. So it's not just herself, her classroom, it's her team, and she takes that with her. As far as proactive, we were really excited about her scores last year, and I remember having a conversation with her. I don't know if she remembers this, but I was like, "Oh my God, did you see your scores?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What's wrong? They were great." And she was like, "Not good enough for me." And it's just that reflectiveness. Like, they were great, but her standard is so much higher, and that resonates with our students. So I'm like, okay. And she was like, "Oh, I'm going to do better. I got this level. Next year it'll be higher." So it's not just about Ms. Rosalind, it's about her team, it's about her students, it's about the school, because, you know, she's a big part of us being a B this year.
Gotcha.
You know,
Gotcha.
so all the way around, she's just a really effective person and classroom teacher.
So, Ms. Rosalind, there are many things happening in the field of education today. What do you think is one of the biggest, greatest challenges?
This is kind of like a double-edged sword, I should say, because it's technology.
Understand.
It's good and it can be bad. And as a math teacher, I have seen firsthand, from the phones, the cell phones in the classrooms, to students trying to cheat on tests by using, you know, AI and different forms of computers. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges. But once we get out all the negatives and try to figure out what's the best way to railroad, how to actually make it the best thing that's happening right now, because we can't stop it. We just have to embrace it and keep going. So
tell me what gives you the greatest career satisfaction daily?
Showing up, seeing my kids when they see me and see it's not a sub in the class today, they're very excited. Just seeing how they light up when they finally get something that I've been teaching, especially, say, day 3. I get a hug almost every single day from 5 or 6 kids, just happy to see me. And just that bond that I've created with them, it fills my heart.
Great.
Fills my heart.
Mrs. Bobo, what makes Ms. Rosalind the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
I think about when I was a classroom teacher, and, you know, there are so many opinions, and there are so many, you know, things that people take into consideration when they're looking at the Teacher of the Year to represent a school. When you think about those boxes, she checks every box. She's highly respected. She is highly effective. She's extremely professional, and she has integrity. And being in a classroom next to her or being in a different hallway in another building, that is what her reputation is. So I feel like she encompasses everything that our Teacher of the Year should be. She is very solution-based. So it's not, okay, if there's a problem, okay, Ms. Rosalind, okay, let's just fix it. Let's find a way to fix it. We're not going to dwell on the problem. We're going to have problems, but what's the solution? And she's just a leader in her own right. She doesn't like a lot of attention. She kind of like stays in the background with it, but she is a force, and she's highly respected in our school.
Cool. So I ask you to bring along with you a prop that kind of describes you as an educator. Share it with us at this time, please.
It's actually my letters from my students. This has been letters for the past 2 years that I've gotten from my students, and it's really crazy because certain students that you have in your class, you didn't know they liked you as much as you know, when you find it in this letter. You find it in the end that you are their favorite teacher. They did not understand math when they came to your class and before they left. I have a student that was a 2, that was in a double block last year. She left my class as a 5. You know, so things like that when they write it at the end of the year to show me that I appreciate Ms. Rosalind. It's not just about you teaching me math. It's about you caring for me. A lot of them say, you're like my mom. You're like my other parent. So those are things that just warm my heart and let me know that teaching was the right decision for me. You know, this is something that, as I said, I've always wanted to as a kid, and I have no regrets.
So as the Teacher of the Year for Forest Grove, you are automatically the school's ambassador for education. What would your message be if you had an opportunity to speak with the superintendent, his cabinet? What's your message?
Wow. I would probably say that I've been at Forest Grove now for 8 years, and I have no intent to move. I live in Port St. Lucie, so I travel. And the team at that school are unbelievable. And that's one of the reasons I haven't moved. And the support we get, especially from Ms. Bobo and her team, is unbelievable. It's consistent. She is straightforward. And I just think that being a teacher is it creates such an impact, not just in education, but on students' mental health. The way they fall in love with you, the way they look towards you for advice, the way they want to do better. So I think overall, it's just, at Forest Grove, that's the environment we have. We have a very impactful environment that's going to keep a lot of these kids keep these kids going to be successful.
Cool. Ladies, I want to tell both of you thank you for joining us and sharing with us, and congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year at the wonderful Forest Grove Middle School.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Perry.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Again, we'd like to welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show the wonderful Mr. Aiden Esquivel Garcia, who's the wonderful he's the wonderful Teacher of the Year over at Fort Pierce Central High School. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm really excited to be here.
He's brought along with him the very proud, the fantastic principal at Fort Pierce Central High School, Mr. Gardner. Welcome.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It is always a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak with principals and their Teacher of the Year, because it gives us a chance to introduce them to our viewing audience. You represent the teaching field here in St. Lucie County as well as your school, so it lets us give a peek into our world to our viewing audience. With that said, would you please briefly introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so my name is Aiden Esquivel Garcia. Born and raised here in Fort Pierce, St. Lucie County. I've been teaching teacher overall for about 8 to 9 years, and teach biology at Fort Pierce Central. Graduated from that same school in 2013, and it's just really a testament to everything that I grew up to be and giving back to the community that I serve. It is quite an honor to just sit here and be here with just great people, honestly.
Great. We love it when graduates come back to the area and teach. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Gardner, would you briefly introduce yourself?
Most certainly. My name is Eldrick Gardner, and I am the proud principal of Fort Pierce Central High School. Not only am I the principal of Fort Pierce Central High School, but I am a proud product of St. Lucie Public School. So graduating from Lincoln Park Academy, and had the opportunity to come back and began my teaching career in St. Lucie County. And I have been in St. Lucie County for the past 22 years, have served in the role as a teacher, professional developer, assistant principal, and find myself at one of the best schools south of the Mason-Dixie line, east of the Mississippi River, Fort Pierce Central High.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner. It's always a pleasure to have an opportunity to talk with all of our colleagues in this system. So, Mr. Esquivel Garcia,
Yes,
have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
The honest answer is I lead my life with my best foot forward each day. And there's a saying in Central, once a cobra, always a cobra. I just found myself living my best life right now. Honestly, I love being a teacher. And to be honest, I go through life, what's the best next move? Sleeping early. And I found myself with my parents, no educational background. Their highest education was 3rd grade, my dad, and my mom was like 1st grade. Rural Mexico, came here, and they instilled in me when they got here, son, education is important. We never had this opportunity. We want to give you everything we didn't. So I led that steps going forward from elementary, middle school, high school. And high school is where it starts getting real, right? You do step by step by step, and then they tell you, hey, you're gonna figure out a career. So I was like, okay, well, what's the next step? College. And this is why I love serving this community, because it was the school district, people in the district that helped my mom help me know what the next steps were. Bright Future scholarships. You need your volunteer hours. Hey, there's these programs available for you. These were things that my parents didn't know, but we had a helping hand along the way the whole entire time. So I got my bachelor's degree from IRSC, Bright Future Scholarship. I did the Opportunity Scholarship. Linda Tapia, savior for my family, because she led us through the whole process, introduced us to programs we had no idea we were eligible for. Finished my whole bachelor's, no loans, which for us is tremendous, because, you know, I don't want to take, I want to give, you know? And from there, I got my bachelor's, and that's when I got into education. Because the next step was, okay, the bachelor's, now you can get a job with this. Okay, what job is there? Well, you can either continue pursuing the master's degree, or you can get an education. So I didn't know, but I entered as a sub at Samuel Gaines Academy. Because my plan was, let's get the master's to go into medical school, right? So I go into subbing, 2nd grade class, I think it's 2018, 2017 at this point now. And they let me know, hey, do you know you could be a teacher with your bachelor's right now? You have it in science, right? And I was like, really? Whoa, really? And then the principal at the time was Mr. Davis, Principal Davis.
He still is.
Still is, awesome. He's great, because as soon as he found out, he was like, get him in, get him in. And I don't plan ahead, because I just know best foot at a time is always gonna show you the best path to wherever you're trying to go, right? And that's so weird. That same week, the science teacher for 6th grade, Mr. Gill, was leaving. And that was like the perfect fit. Like one door to another. Here you go. Here's the 6th grade science class, but starts in February.
We know what that means, don't we? But you tackled it.
Oh, it was a major, opportunity for growth. Framing words is so important. It wasn't a problem, it was an opportunity for growth. And man, did I grow. You know what I mean?
So tell me, at this point, what is your most enjoyable part of teaching?
Wow, that's a deep question. Most enjoyable part is really building meaningful, long-lasting, impactful relationships with students that change their trajectory in their lives. Where I see, man, this student used to think a certain way, used to have a certain struggle. And one little thing that I said has now changed that trajectory forever. I can give you multiple examples, but I had one example that's like third party, right? That speaks on this is we had our Christmas gathering this year at my parents' house, and one of our guests, he was telling me, "Oh, so you're a teacher? Doesn't it like kind of, can I say suck? Doesn't it kind of suck that you talk to these kids and then they listen to you and then they're gone, and now you didn't really make an impact?" And I was like, I don't see it like that. I was like, I always like to use an example before I give my example so they can kind of reinforce what I'm trying to say. I was like, do you know about the butterfly effect, where a butterfly flutters its wings and that flutter caused a little leaf, and all of a sudden there's something happening. I was like, it doesn't matter if I get new students every year, but now I know that student that I changed their trajectory, I don't even have no idea what impact they're gonna do in life. So no, it doesn't suck, and it's amazing, and I love doing what I do every day, and I will continue doing it.
So, Mr. Gardner, you get to see the magic happen every day. What would we see if you took me to visit Mr. Esquivel Garcia's classroom?
If we had the opportunity to ever go into Mr. Esquivel's classroom, what you will see is engaged and enthusiastically learning students. They're engaged in activities such as labs and dissections, be it dissections of the frogs or fetal pigs or whatever we are dissecting. And then there just is an authentic engagement with the students. They reciprocate the learning, great conversations, and the conversations will center around the content of biology. Be it mitosis and meiosis, you will hear great conversations in this classroom about. So I would say he does a wonderful job in the classroom, hands-on with our students.
So describe him for me using 3 adjectives, Mr. Gardner.
If I had to be limited to 3 adjectives, first and foremost, I would say that he is very engaging. As I first stated, that the level of intensity in the classroom allows for the students to tackle the material that sometimes is difficult. So the engagement factor is there. He presents the content with great enthusiasm, so he's enthusiastic. And lastly, I would say he's empowering. And what I mean by that is that he gives information to the students, and they then develop an appreciation for that information. He also empowers students. One of the things that I see him do is when he, with the guitar club, I've seen students join the guitar club that he sponsors who had never picked up a guitar. And by that first session in that club, they're strumming a melody of some sort. So he empowers them by allowing them to believe in themselves and building their confidence.
You had me hooked when the guitar walked in the room, and now you're talking about it. So I'm assuming that the guitar is your prop.
Yes.
So tell us about your prop.
My prop is the guitar because, as he said, and I'm not, should I play it? I'm not gonna.
Sure you can.
No, I'm just gonna hold it. Okay. So the guitar is the prop because it really encompasses learning. Many people who've never picked up the guitar will say, whoa, that's a guitar, how do you play it? And it's like, it's hard to describe music, and I teach biology, right? And to be honest, I love the guitar. So my favorite chord is the E minor. And it's, for me, and for music learners, that's the easiest chord. E minor, 1, 2 fingers. But there's so much depth to it, right? And as Mr. Gardner said, when there was a need for a guitar club, and I said, amazing, I have guitars in the classroom right now. Let me just open up the guitar club. And it has so much interest. We have over 15 students, and we're getting more. Because as the kids are learning, and I have 4 guitars in the classroom. So when they're done with their work, and I have kids in the guitar club, Mr. Russell, can I get a guitar? Yeah, go get it, go hang out, play. And they asked me, he's like, how do I play? I was like, well, it's more of a feel, because music is a feel, right? So you start learning these principles, these little deeper fundamentals that are important for learning. And they're like, you get the basics, right? And then and I tell them, like, well, just play the E minor, right? This is what it's supposed to sound like. So that's the example. Here you go. And I get on the guitar. So then they learn from there. That's all I tell them. And where do you put your fingers? Well, here, right here. Is this right? And then you hear them like, I'm like, oh, see, your tension is not good enough. And that's learning as well, because with the biology, the concepts, as they get more and more complex, say, for example, this is the complexity. That's the goal, right? But they're there, right? So that's where the teacher comes in. I know where to bridge. Your index finger, your middle finger needs to be holding it more. There you go, see? You see? So that's with the concept. So if you're trying to learn cell theory and you don't know anything about cells, well, let's start at cells. And that's where we start at. We start at cells. So I brought the guitar because it really does encompass learning. You know what I mean? And I'm not a master at the guitar. I just play the E minor really well.
That little dark, mysterious chord.
Yes, and that's why I love it.
Dark, mysterious chord. I'm with you. So, Mr. Gardner, what makes Mr. Esquivel Garcia the perfect candidate for this honor?
There are many things that make him a perfect candidate for the honor of Teacher of the Year. And first and foremost is that he avails himself to students. We speak about the Guitar Club. That's just one aspect of it. He is also the co-sponsor of the Esports Club, where our students participate in this world, this new world of gaming that I might not have known existed. Not only is that, but he is a NEST facilitator. So he makes himself available to new teachers to model and give insights into the teaching profession. As he has so eloquently spoken, it is a feeling. And sometimes the feeling that needs to be felt by our students is the sense that someone truly cares for them. And not only is he a NEST facilitator, but he is our CLP facilitator for biology, our collaborative planning. And under his tutelage of our CLP, we have increased our overall science proficiency in biology up to 69%. And so it is attributed to the great work that he does day in and day out at Fort Pierce Central. And we are the better that he's there.
So, Mr. Esquivel Garcia, I'm going to ask one last question, and I'm going to ask you to answer briefly. You are the ambassador for education at Fort Pierce Central High School. Have an opportunity to speak to the superintendent. What's your message?
Mr. Superintendent, I am just very honored to be able to sit here and just give back to the community that has given me so much and grow from there. Really, I born here, and as I drive through the roads that were once one lane and now two and then three, and now we're the A district of Florida, and I'm a part of that, it's amazing.
Great, great.
That's
Congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year for Fort Pierce Central. And to both of you, thank you for sharing with us today. And we look forward to more and more conversations and coming in class and learning to play that dark, mysterious E minor chord. Thank you again. Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
This time to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show. We have with us the wonderful Mr. Wallace Ramming, who is the music teacher over at the Creative Arts Academy of St. Lucie, better known to us as CAST. Mr. Ramming, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
He's brought along with him the very dynamic, wonderful, proud principal there, our great friend, Miss Jane Whitaker, who's the principal there. Mrs. Whitaker, welcome.
Great to see you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
We get excited when we have an opportunity to speak with the Teachers of the Year because we think that is such an important honor. But more so, Mr. Ramming, because it gives us the opportunity to introduce some of the wonderful teachers that work here in St. Lucie Public Schools to our viewing audience. Would you please briefly introduce yourself to some viewers that may not know the Ramming name?
Okay, well, my name is Wallace Ramming. I am a second-generation educator. Both of my parents taught right here in St. Lucie County, 35 years each. And I also have an older sibling who teaches here as well in choral music. So born and raised, enjoyed it, stayed here my entire life.
Cool. Mrs. Whitaker, introduce yourself.
My name is Jane Whitaker, and I serve as the very proud principal of CAST. And this is actually my 4th year at Creative Arts Academy. Prior to that, I know it's flown by. Prior to that, I was the principal at Mariposa Elementary. And then before that, Wallace and I were just talking, we were elementary music teachers together, going way back about 25 years. So yeah, we don't want to say that out loud. But glad to be here and glad to have the opportunity to celebrate his achievements and all of his work.
I just know we're going to have some fun. You have 3 music teachers sitting around the table. But Mr. Ramon, I can't let you get away with not saying what high school you graduated from.
I graduated from Westwood High School way back in...
And as we said, Westwood, once a Panther? Always a Panther, yes. So, Mr. Ramon, I know you're a second-generation educator.
Yes.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
I wanted to be a performer first and foremost, and I got into teaching because of my parents. You know, so whenever there was an opportunity to sub, obviously they called me, and I got an opportunity to sub in some of the music classes. And I go, hey, this is pretty cool. I think I might want to do this. And so it just sort of grew from there.
So I got to ask this question knowing that you are second generation, knowing that your whole family is musical. Do you think you pattern the way you teach after a teacher that you had, or who inspires you as a teacher, previous teacher?
That answer would probably go my father, because my father, the first day I started teaching, and I remember it like it was yesterday, and he's passed now, but this is something that I carry to this day. And when he sat me down, he said, hey, you're getting ready to go in the classroom. So first thing you need to do is remember that all students rise to the level of expectation. So go in there with high expectations, okay? And the second thing was handle your own discipline. That was his two bits of wisdom there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you find most rewarding daily when you're teaching?
Just to see the kids master what it is that you are trying to teach. So if you go in and this is our goal, or this is the goal that I've set for today, and to see them to achieve it, there's no better feeling like that. And for us as music teachers, it happens on the stage in front of a large audience of people. And when they nail it in front of that, it's just the feeling you just can't explain. You just can't express it.
So, Ms. Whitaker, I know it's one of the places that you like to hang out.
Oh, yeah.
In the music room. We feel right at home.
Yeah.
If I were to visit, you know that's where I'm going to want to go. What would we see happening in Mr. Raming's room?
It's always just a place of joy. And you can tell just every moment that you walk in that he is truly enjoying what he's doing and engaging the students, that they are enjoying and loving, you know, every aspect of what he's teaching them. And sometimes they don't even realize sometimes the additional skills that he's teaching because it's just his way. And when you get a chance to hear them perform and see the finished product, you know, we have an opportunity to see them rehearse, and then you see the completion. And what this man brings to the stage is remarkable, and just so proud of what he, you know, the experiences that he gives his students each and every day. And it's made a huge impact on the culture of our school as well.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this in. I think you'll allow me to do this. Before the name was CAST, it was Fort Pierce Magnet School of the Arts.
Right.
And Mr. Raming was at the school at that time. And he was the one that came up with FP, and the kids had to respond MSA. And they knew that, you know, that was one of the signals that we quiet down, we get in proper. Yeah, it was all because the way he handled things, which affected the entire campus, which was what you were just saying. So he's always had that effect. So do me a favor, Ms. Whitaker, describe Mr. Raming for me with 3 adjectives, and then tell us why you've chosen those 3. Yes, 3.
I see what you're saying.
I know.
It's always hard to simplify that down to 3 because you could give him several of those. Creative, what he brings to the classroom and the ideas that he brings to his team, just his level of creativity, just, you know, he also created the jingle for the district. his level of creativity, you give him an idea and he takes it and runs with it. And again, just that level of excellence, and he always rises to the occasion. So your dad, you know, those words your dad spoke to you is his high expectations for himself. Dedication. There is nothing he won't do for his students, and you know the opportunities that he gives them, whether it's thespians, it's musical theater, it's vocal music, going to solo and ensemble. Where do I keep going? You know, field trips, just so many. That's building the whole child. It's not just held within his classroom, and the dedication that he does and the impact that he has for his students. And I'll tell you, when we are at the end of performances and we bring him out, the response from the students and the families is bar none, and it just speaks for his work and his dedication that he has for what he does. And then passion. I would say passion for his musicianship, for his ability to bring those experiences to life for his students. But it's not just, again, in the classroom, it's things that he does for himself to build that passion and keep that alive within him in writing his own music. You know, he's got albums, you know, a lot of people don't know that, you know, he's a performer outside. So, but just keeping that side where he's getting fed as an artist and a musician himself, and keeping that passion alive.
So, Mr. Ramming,
yes.
We know that you wanted to be a performer, but when did you first fall in love with teaching?
I think I fell more in love with the students than teaching itself. When you go into this atmosphere and you see kids who have dreams, they have desires, they have passions, and they come with all types of baggage, and you know that you have something that can help them or enhance their lives, then, you know, I just sort of fell in love with that. How can I touch this kid's life with what I do, with what I love? And I think the kids read whether or not you love and enjoy what it is you're teaching, because if you love and enjoy what it is you're teaching, they can pick up on that. They can read it. You know, they read teachers very well. So there's no pretense whatsoever. You have to love that subject matter, and your passion that you have for it sort of goes over to the students as well. So I guess it's just being there to help and change lives. I just say to influence, to enhance, to make their lives better through what it is we do, and it's music, performance, and those things. And a lot of students come to you, they don't know that they have those skills, and you can see it with them, you know, and then you just sort of pull out the best that you can with those students and try to make an impact in their lives in some way.
What do you consider, Mr. Ramming, to be one of the greatest challenges facing education?
Wow, that's a loaded question there, Doc. So, but I think one of the greatest challenges is probably competing with outside influences such as technology and social media. How can we use those things that gather so much of their attention and apply it in the classroom where it's effective in producing positive results?
Tell me, how many years teaching now? Come on.
This is my 34th year teaching.
Oh, wow. And I was going to say 20 something. Okay. Okay. Loaded question again. Yeah. What do you see as your proudest achievement as an educator?
It would depend on which grade level. So I did 11 years of elementary education, left the county for a couple of years and came back, and now I'm teaching secondary. And so with the elementary, I would say that having the opportunity to take those students to music competitions and make some superior ratings at that time and very early in my teaching career, that was really, really exciting. It's one of my very, very proudest moments. I have it on video in case anybody disputes. And I think middle school is just to reflect on some of the accomplishments that I've done with my choirs. Like I have 23 superior ratings in 6 years. That's kind of a little proud thing, because normally middle schools, you only take like one group to competition. And so each year I would push my level up. Okay, we took 1 last year. We're going to do 2 this year. We're going to do 3. I did 4 2 years in a row, which you should not do because there are only a few, like in music performance assessments, you have sightseeing. And generally, you have 2 to 3 activities that your group can sightsee. So if you have 4 choirs and you got kids that are in 1 or 2 of those ensembles, then you have to choose a sightseeing activity that may not be middle school. It might be pressing toward high school. So we started out at the beginning of the year. We're going to jump on this early, guys, because you're going to have to do some very difficult sightseeing. And then very proud that those kids were able to accomplish and do well.
So, Ms. Whitaker, tell us what makes Mr. Raming the perfect candidate for this honor?
He is the perfect example of what a Teacher of the Year is, because he not only impacts the classroom, he impacts the whole school culture. And when you have that type of impact and humility as well, sometimes I don't know that he realizes how much impact he has on our school and on the culture. And when you have that message to bring to other teachers, just on, trying to share with other people across the state, because when he goes to the next step, a lot of what you're doing is having those conversations with people across the state about how you do what you do. And you do it because it's done with the heart. And truly, that speaks volumes of him. And when you have somebody who does it because they love it and they do it because they know they make a difference and they want to make a difference, I think that truly is the essence of what the Teacher of the Year is, and when you impact all around you.
So, Mr. Raming, we asked you to bring along a prop with you that kind of describes you as a teacher. Would you please share that prop with us at this time?
Well, this item right here is pretty much where the story begins.
We both know what those are.
Yeah. And so the story behind this is once upon a time, 6th grade was elementary school.
Yes.
And of course, they would change it the year I was looking excited to go to middle school. And middle school, I get to be in the band, but no, they changed it to elementary school. So my first year in 6th grade, we're in elementary school. The music teacher at that time, and I cannot remember her name, but I remember her actions, which is why we always have to make sure that we do everything correct in the classroom, because those things stay with us as students. We had a flutophone band. And at that time, I had been taking private piano lessons for maybe about 3 or 4 years. So there was not music that she gave us that was difficult or anything. But in order to be a part of the high-level flutophone band, she would handpick those kids. And I wanted to be in that ensemble, and she did not choose me, not knowing that I was one of the strongest students in the classroom. So at that time, there was this amazing movie that had just come out called Star Wars. And I learned how to play it on this, and I was quietly teaching all the other kids in the classroom how to play it. And she comes up, how did you guys learn how to play that? And they say, oh, Wallace taught me. So from there, do you want to be? Nope. But when I started teaching elementary school, I said, every kid in my classroom is going to learn how to play this. Not hot cross buns. We did that the first 9 weeks of 4th grade. So at that time, Disney was going through the Renaissance movies, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and all of those songs that were part of those movies. I did little arrangements for it. Kids learned how to play it on this just to make connections. They already knew what it sounded like, so I could go in and do the difficult rhythms and things, and they played it. And a lot of that I attributed to I'm teaching myself. I'm teaching my students the way I wish I had been taught in elementary school. So this is it. This is the whole story. This is my motivation that makes sure everybody does well.
So, Mrs. Whitaker, is there anything else that you want to share with us about the amazing Mr. Wallace Raming?
Well, we are just thrilled to be able to celebrate, all the work that you do and the impact that you make every day. And we just wish you the best as we go through this next part of the process, and excited and thrilled that we get to spend every day with you. So
take us along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Mr. Ramey, let's wrap it up. You are the ambassador for education at Cass.
Yeah.
Could be the ambassador for education for St. Lucie Public Schools and the state of Florida. You have an opportunity to speak to many different people, policymakers, decision makers, parents. What would be your message?
My message would be shoot for the stars. Do the very best that you can in whatever it is. I have a motto in my classroom. It goes like this: excellence is never an accident. It is the result of hard work and dedication. That applies to life, no matter what it is. If you're in sports, if you're dedicated, you work hard, you're going to get some good results. If you are building electronics, mechanics, or whatever it is, as long as you put that hard work in and you are dedicated to seeing it through, regardless of what the outcome may be, I'm dedicated throughout it, you're going to get good results. And I think as educators, we have to go in the classroom without expectations for our students other than being successful. No other expectations, regardless of what their paperwork says. This is what we're going to do, and you're going to achieve it. And I'm here for you, and I'm going to work with you, and I have you.
Awesome. Mrs. Whitaker, Mr. Ramey, thank you for joining us to highlight Teacher of the Year, Wallace Ramey, and congratulations on your selection. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Wow, what an amazing show. Now, this show was about celebrating the mentors who inspire, motivate, and support our students to become better individuals. Our special program honors those who shape the future. Teachers bring enthusiasm, passion, and nurturing to their students, making a difference in ways they may not even realize. This show was our way of pulling back the curtain to honor those who have gone above and beyond the call of duty, those whose dedication and commitment to the teaching profession deserves our highest praise. This show is our thank you to teachers for their selfless service and to say, job well done. Thank you for joining us as we honor the educators who light the way for a better tomorrow.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.